We also put the exact same waterproof stucco system inside this box with a window inside here. To show the waterproofness of our system, we're going to fill the box with water. We have no caulking around the window, just our waterproof system itself. Our waterproof system, we have already installed it on one project, literally on the roof. It has been performing for over a year now. We're here today to demonstrate the waterproof stucco system, which we now have a patent pending on. The application that we're doing today incorporates a 1/2-inch styrofoam in the system. I would recommend a minimum of 1-inch styrofoam to increase that R value. What that styrofoam does to the system, it eliminates any thermal bridging of your studs, so you have a continuous application of foam and R value over your complete wall system. We're using a 1-inch casing bead, and we're using a 1/2-inch insulation board. Then on top of that, we're installing 1/2-inch stucco brown coat. All of this is encapsulated in the 1-inch casing bead to create a full system. Now, we do the same thing around the windows and any other openings in a wall system. The insulation board is installed inside your casing bead. Your lathe will go on top of it. We've used a liquid applied vapor barrier as our barrier system. That could be any other type system that you would want, whether it be felt paper, Tyvek, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Then you have your paperback lathe that goes on top of that before you install your brown coat. Okay, the next step in our system is a primer coat over the brown coat. We've chose to use Stowe's Hot Prime primer. It neutralizes the pH levels in the stucco brown coat, which gives us we can go in and start doing our application immediately after the next day of installing our brown coat. Any other type primer, you would have to wait an extended period of time, which slows down your job and your process. This application will speed up that process by allowing you to go over your brown coat the very next day. The process that we're doing now is we're installing a liquid applied roof coating over our stucco brown coat. He's putting his first coat on now, and he'll come back and embed his mesh into the wet coating. Okay, what we are doing now, we are installing the mesh, embedding the mesh into the liquid applied roof coating. We're embedding it down into the joint, which is going to create a secondary caulk joint. When we finish with this application, this wall and this window will be essentially waterproofed. It will tie all of this in to where no water is going to get back into the wall system between the stucco system and the window. We have now prepped the window opening. It is now considered to be watertight, and the reason for our gap here, you always still want to give a caulk joint there. So at the end of our process, we'll come in and we'll caulk it, and you'll have basically a 2 caulking caulk joint. You'll have your primary caulk joint, which we've just done here, and you can consider this your secondary caulk joint, and then your primary caulk joint will go on top of it. Now we'll be moving on to our control joints and how we install our mesh and coating in those. Right now we're installing our first coat of the coating into the control joint. Now we're embedding our mesh into our wet coating and tooling it into the control joint. We have now prepped our joints and we're ready to start installing the mesh on the entire surface of the brown coat. This roof coating is a tintable product. We can tint this roof coating the same color as the finish coat that's going to be installed on top of it, which will give it that depth of color through and through. What we're doing now, we're installing our mesh in our wet coating, and once we get it up there, we'll trowel it into that wet coating. As you can see, he's troweled the cloth into the wet coating. At the top, we're going to return that mesh and wet coating to totally encapsulate the entire system. Now at the bottom, we will trim that cloth off even with the casing bead at the bottom, because the system is still a drainable system. If water ever would get behind any of the waterproofing that we're installing, it will drain and come out the system like a normal stucco system would do. Okay, we are now installing our second coat of the liquid applied roofing coating. You want to give some time between your first coat, which you trowel your mesh in, and your second coat. You want to make sure that that first coat has dried properly before you put the second coat on. Keep in mind, this second coat again can be tinted the same color as your finish to give it that depth of color in your wall. We're now here today to show the final process or final step in our system to install the finish coat. And he's going to trowel the EIFS finish coat on the wall system, and once it's fully troweled in, he will then float it. Keep in mind, with the liquid applied roof coating, this can be tinted the same color as your finish coat. It can be tinted in every color that paint comes in. As you can see here, he's floating the finish coat to achieve the texture that is desired. We also put the exact same waterproof stucco system inside this box with a window inside here. To show the waterproofness of our system, we're going to fill the box with water. We have no caulking around the window, just our waterproof system itself. Our waterproof system, we have already installed it on one project, literally on the roof. It has been performing for over a year now. As you can see, the ground is dry underneath our window. In this corner here, as we were applying the finish coat and finish coat had dried, the finish coat expanded and has left a small crack there. The system has not been breached at all because of the liquid applied roof coating is behind the finish coat, so there will not be any leakage there. We're now about to pour water into our box to prove the water tightness of our system. Now we have water fully around the window. So the window is fully submerged around it with water. It does not matter what type of window you use, our system can waterproof any type of window all around the edges. And if you've noticed, we haven't even put any caulking in around the window. It's just our waterproof system as it is now. Once our system is completed, we do recommend caulking around the windows. It just gives an extra insurance, a double caulk joint around your window openings.
I'm Win White. I'm a registered professional engineer. We started this water test about an hour ago, and I'm just checking to see if I can see any signs of moisture on the bottom side of this window and wall assembly. And I see no signs of moisture coming through or around the window.
One thing I do want to point out on our window detail here, the reason we have done our window detail this way is so that we could demonstrate it in our box to show it was waterproof. This window detail as it stands does not keep drainable water behind it out. The proper way of doing this window detail is the way it should be done at all times, with a head flashing above the window and a pan flashing on the bottom of the window to address any water that drains behind the system. It needs to come in and be drained out.
I'm here to observe the testing of this wall system for water integrity. And we've drilled a hole here. We're going to test what happens if water gets behind the barrier seal on the face of the stucco system. Today we're going to use colored water so it'll help us see it if it does show up. We're going to pour it in between the liquid applied water and air seal that's on the sheathing, and it's behind the roofing system, the wall system, so that we can check to see how this wall manages water should it get past the barrier. As you can see, the water has run to the base flashing of the wall and come out. So the wall is not retaining the moisture.
As you can see, we have finished installing the finish coat on our waterproof stucco system. We have also demonstrated with the engineer that was here earlier the waterproofness of our system in this bucket, in this box that we have poured with water around the window that we have in here. I want to thank everyone for watching this video, and if you're interested in this product or this system, please give us a call.